Hi everyone, my name is Melody. Welcome to my channel where we discuss responsible consumerism by the way of project pans, no-buys, and tips on how to be the most ethical consumer you can be. Today's video is going to touch on that third thing. It's going to be tips about how you can be the most ethical consumer you can be, and I'm going to talk about the heart of why I'm doing this YouTube channel in the first place. So maybe you haven't thought about how your shopping habit and hyperconsumerism contributes to human trafficking, but there's a huge link between what we buy and human trafficking. So there's a couple different types of human trafficking. I think the most common type people think of is sex trafficking, but labor trafficking is also really huge. There's also indentured servants, and they're all kind of the same idea of being modern day slaves. Of those types of human trafficking, the one where I focus is labor trafficking, specifically in the fashion industry and beauty industry, because those are my interests. I don't visit prostitutes, nor do I talk to a lot of people that I know visit prostitutes, so I don't really have a credible voice in that arena. What I do though is I shop. I buy clothes, I buy makeup, I buy shoes, I buy personal care items, and I do that a lot. So what does that mean? It means that there's a ton of room for improvement for me and how I can be a better ethical consumer. So we've all heard of fast fashion, and I think the emphasis on the anti-fast fashion people tends to be on how it hurts the environment, and that sucks. I hate it, and there's no need for it in that sense. But beyond that, there's a human cost, and that's where my heart is. When we go in and we buy massive quantities of clothes through those fast fashion places, and even the places that you don't even think are fast fashion, but they're still not treating their people correctly, which I'm going to link some resources below so you can see. I'm not going to sit here and describe the stories about what I heard has happened in these places and the things that I've seen and the testimonies I've heard, because I'd rather you get it straight from them. So I'm going to link resources below, like I said. So please check those out if you're not sure what I'm talking about when I talk about poor living conditions, and honestly the deaths that are involved every single year because we have such a demand for clothing and beauty items in such massive quantities. So also in human trafficking, there are three elements. You have the pimp or the perpetrator, you have the victims, the ones that are being trafficked, and then you have those that demand the service or product. And this third one, the demand, is where I find I lend my voice to the most. And it's not like I've made a conscious decision that I'm going to specifically speak into the demand portion of labor trafficking in fashion. It just happens. It's just a passion that has been brewing inside of me, and I'm hoping to have some influence and give you guys some insight if you don't already have it. I know I'm not the only one that knows these things, and some tips on how we can lower that demand. So just like in economics class, which I've never taken, but I understand the concept of supply and demand, that's what it all boils down to. If we stop the demand, they'll stop the supply. Will they find another way to abuse people? Probably, but I can't imagine that it would be in the volumes that they do now, and I won't be contributing to it directly. So this video isn't, the entire purpose of this video isn't a tips video. I'm going to make a separate video on that, but it's really just to touch on that concept that we are fueling the fire. We are the consumer. We're the ones that buy way too many sweaters, way too many t-shirts. We buy the eyeshadow made with mica, mined by children. That's on us, and we can do something about that. Now, it's so easy to pick up some makeup and see if there's a bunny on it, and then I know I'm buying cruelty-free. But it's not so easy to pick up a shirt and know that no child made this. Nobody suffered to make this. And that's something that I would really like to see changed. There's progress in that area. There's obviously fair trade, which I think overall is a great thing. There's also B Corp certified. again, really great. My understanding of that is that it actually costs those companies a lot of money to get those certifications, which I understand because I actually considered creating a certification myself and validating places that, claim to be transparent, verifying that they were transparent in their conditions and their business practices and everything. But then I was like, who's going to fund it? And then I was like, I see now why those certifications are so expensive. So I get it. But if we, as the consumers who hold all the power in this, fight back and say, I'm not going to do it, I am not going to buy the things that somebody has suffered to make, then they're going to stop making those things. The people are going to stop suffering. And when it comes to cruelty-free cosmetics, the animals are going to stop being tested on if we stop buying those things. So it just takes a little bit of time to educate yourself on how to find the brands that are ethically sourced and ethically made, how to find the information that is going to get you to the place that you're comfortable buying. So I guess that's my tip number 1 is slow down. Take a minute, do a little bit of research. There's an app called Goodly, and I love the concept behind the app. You can type in a brand and it's going to tell you a rating, and it's going to tell you they need to do better, or they're making progress, or they're great, they recommend them. And when that is completely fleshed out, that's going to be an amazing resource. But they don't have a lot of brands. I go there a lot to look for certain brands, and it's probably not even 50% of what I look up, they have. So I think that's going to be coming, and that's really good, and I really appreciate it for what it does have. Speaking of slowing down, we just need to slow down our consumption of things. Don't buy clothes that are seasonal, that you're not going to wear the following season. Buy a sundress, fine. Wear it during the summer, but wear it for 5 summers later too. And is it hard to know which ones are going to be those ones that stick around? In a sense, yes. But if you do your legwork and, don't just purchase the first one you see or the first one that grabs your eye, slow down. Look at the fabric. Is the fabric going to last a while? Is it constructed well? Those are also clues to know that it wasn't made, by a kid or whatever. Is this a style that I'm going to like in 5 years? Usually those trendy flash in the pan styles, I'm not going to like 5 years later. So I stopped buying them a few years ago. Just makes sense. Exceptions would be jeans and haircuts. So haircuts, and it's COVID, so disregard this hair. But typically jeans and haircuts, those are my areas where I'm going to be trendy. And maybe sneakers, because jeans and sneakers I wear through, and I'm going to have to repurchase those at best, between every year and every few years. And hair, I obviously have to get that cut and groomed every few months. So that's where I decide that I can be trendy, and everywhere else I'm going to stick to plain, simple, classic. I should say plain, simple, or classic, because there's certainly things that are classic that aren't going to go out of style that aren't necessarily plain and simple either. Another area where you can reduce the demand is in thrifting. And if you think about it like this, what are some ways that I can reduce the demand? So we talked about not buying as much and slowing that down, and then also buying steps removed from the original demand. So instead of going to H&M to buy clothing, I can go to the thrift store. There's still a little bit of a demand because there's going to be things that sell better secondhand than don't, and so there's going to be a little bit more of a demand for those things that sell better secondhand. But it's still so far removed from putting money in the pockets of the people that are trafficking the people in the first place. So it's still a win. So thrifting is a fantastic way to help fight trafficking. I also understand that ethically made clothes are typically a lot more expensive. But number one, that's changing a little bit. There are brands now that aren't as expensive that are becoming fair trade certified. The first one I'm thinking of is Universal Threads. I don't know for sure that this is the case, but I know International Justice Mission partnered with Target a few years ago, and I'm guessing that Universal Threads is the baby of theirs. So I thought I was cheating a little bit on my ethically made purchases. I went to Target, they had a sale, I needed some black jeans, and so I thought, oh, let me pick these up, they're on sale. Well, then I get home and I fold them, put them on my bed, and it says Fair Trade Certified. So I did some digging and I see that they are very conscious about how they're sourcing and making their products. So I was really excited to see that. Have I done the deep dive into finding out just how ethically they're made? No, I haven't. So I'm not, putting my official stamp of approval on it. However, it's at least a start, and it makes me really excited. But other than that, a lot of the ethically made clothing items are more expensive. But guess what? We don't need 10 black t-shirts. We don't need 40 sweaters to wear throughout the winter. We can slow that down. We can buy fewer of them. So even if you're buying from non-ethically made companies, if you just don't buy as much, you're already starting to lower the demand. So I know it's hard because it's changing a habit. We've been in the habit of buying too much. We've been in the habit of not thinking about the consequences of our purchases. And so slowing down, in my opinion, and for me, somebody who, I'm just excited about life. I get excited to put my socks on in the morning, hit the ground running, and just see where the day takes me. I need to slow down in so many areas, and changing a habit requires me to slow down. So I guess that might even be the whole theme. The major takeaway is slow down in so many ways, and that's going to be getting us closer to lowering that demand. In my intro video that I posted a few weeks ago, I said I was going to try to not get preachy in the rest of my videos, and I really hope I didn't come off as preachy in this video. I hope that you can see the passion I have for this subject, and I hope that maybe I've shared some of that with you if you didn't already have it. One of my pet peeves is watching somebody speak on a subject and they just assume you know nothing about it. So I am not assuming you know nothing about this. I am hopeful that all of you know something about this, and that all these people that are passionate about this can get together and work together for the greater good on this. But maybe you are learning something new. Maybe there are some ways that you can change your practices. I would love to know. Do you have anything else that you can add to this? Put it in the comments. This isn't my extensive list on tips on how to be an ethical consumer, but these are just a few things that came to mind that I thought, you know what, I want to share those in this video because they're the easier ones, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with this rant. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to add to it, and I don't think so. I think I got it all out. So I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate the time you spent here. I appreciate you, and I appreciate any efforts that you're willing to contribute to lowering the demand. And I hope you'll come back if you are interested in this type of content. This is this is at the heart of why I do this YouTube video, but this isn't super typical content for me. I tend to do a lot of project pans and no-buy related content. So if you're interested in those, by all means subscribe, you're going to get that. If you're interested in this type of content, give the video a thumbs up and maybe leave a comment so I know. You can share this with people, especially those that maybe you think don't know about how we contribute to human trafficking. And I would really love to see you back here. So I hope you come back, and I have enjoyed this time. I obviously had a lot to say. So I guess that's going to do it. Thank you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.